Picture this. You wake up to your phone blowing up with memes, TikToks, and tweets from all over the world. Some of it's about a new Netflix show. Others are about people demanding their leaders resign. Oh, and there's that meme about your generation being too sensitive. Well, buckle up, because the youth of today have decided to start a new revolution, and it's not about canceling the latest reality show. No. We're talking full-on government toppling, social media rage, and straight-up, hey, we're done with this vibes. And it's happening right now in countries you might not even have considered for your next vacation. Nepal? Oh yeah, Nepal decided to join the club of nations where the youth are like, yeah, we've had enough of your BS. Time for a change. The streets were flooded with protests. Flames were rising from government buildings, and young people were storming parliament. Sounds like the plot of a movie, right? Well, it's real life, and it's happening way more often than you might think. From the streets of Kathmandu to the islands of Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and even all the way to Southeast Asia. Hello, Indonesia and the Philippines. It's a youth-led revolution across the globe. So, what's causing all this chaos? Is it just the classic millennial move? Blame everything on the older generation and cry about how everything sucks? Well, sort of, but not really. It's deeper than that. And trust me, you're going to want to keep watching to figure out why your Gen Z TikTok videos aren't the only things shaking the internet these days. Hint, it has a lot to do with a little thing called corruption. Not to be confused with that low-key corrupt TikTok algorithm that keeps recommending you one more dance challenge you're way too old for. We're talking about real government-level corruption. Youth frustration is reaching a boiling point, and they're not holding back anymore. The spark? Social media. Yup, we all thought it was just for memes and influencer drama, but surprise, surprise, young people have figured out how to use it to launch full-scale uprisings. In Nepal, it started with a trend, the Nepo Kids on TikTok, a viral challenge that highlighted the insane wealth and privilege of political elites' kids. Because the best way to show the world how out-of-touch politicians are is by mocking their kids. Not gonna lie, it's pure comedic gold. But here's the catch. People really started getting angry. Suddenly, it wasn't just about making fun of someone's lavish lifestyle. It became about the real problems at hand. The youth, tired of corrupt leaders playing a never-ending game of musical chairs, decided to take matters into their own hands. Then, the government did something bold. They banned social media. Yes, you heard that right. Social media, the platform that allows anyone with a smartphone and an internet connection to become an influencer, was now under attack. The government was like, hey guys, stop posting about your government, please, thanks. This didn't go down too well, obviously. The reaction? Tens of thousands of young Nepali flooding the streets, raging about this ridiculous ban. Oh, and don't forget the protesters who were on the front lines taking hits from water cannons, tear gas, and even bullets. The response to that? Yeah, people got even angrier. I'm talking about full-on chaos. Protesters setting fire to government buildings, storming political leaders' homes, and even forcing the resignation of Nepal's Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli. Boom. Power shift. You know what that is? A classic Gen Z power move. A little chaos, a little rebellion, and bam, we got what we wanted. And before you ask, is this just one-off insanity? Let me hit you with a reality check. It's not. This whole South Asian spring, if you will, is only just beginning. Just wait till you hear about Bangladesh, where students led protests against the government's corruption. The same story in Sri Lanka, but on an even grander scale. The youth are tired. They're fed up with having to deal with all this economic and political nonsense while watching their leaders roll around in their fancy cars like it's no big deal. So, now that we've covered the basics of this South Asian spring, let's get into the aftermath and what happens after the dust settles. Or rather, after the water cannons stop spraying. You'd think after all this chaos and government resignation, the youth would be done, right? They've got their moment in the spotlight. The politicians are probably sweating, and it's all good. But here's the kicker. It's never that easy. The issue with grassroots, leaderless uprisings like this is that once you topple a government, what the heck do you do next? Where's the structure? Who's in charge? Because, spoiler alert, just being mad at the government and posting a few TikToks isn't exactly a recipe for running a country. So, after the fire and fury of protests in Nepal, the protesters did what anyone with zero political experience would do. They went for an elder. Enter Sushila Kaki. This 73-year-old former Supreme Court Chief Justice, who had nothing to do with the original uprising, became the interim prime minister. Why? Because, well, who else were they going to pick? The youth-led movement was wild and unorganized, so they decided to go with someone who wasn't part of the political establishment, but was at least old enough to know how to handle the aftermath. Genius? Or desperate? You decide. This is where things get really interesting, because this whole pick an elder to fix things move has been happening all over the place. I mean, come on. It's almost like the youth is all like, we're mad, we're loud, but we still need someone who remembers how to balance a budget. So, in a way, the cycle continues. The youth rise up, make a bunch of noise, and then let the old folks come in and try to clean up the mess. And guess what? The same thing happened in Bangladesh. After a massive youth-led protest ousted their leader, they put an 84-year-old economist in charge. Yes, 84. Because nothing says, we're ready for change, like hiring someone who probably remembers when the economy was first invented. The elderly step in, because let's be real, they've got political experience. But, as we've seen in Sri Lanka, the key to any revolution is the next real election, where a new wave of young people could push the old guard out. The youth of today want fresh faces, not the same old recycled politicians who probably use a fax machine and still believe Facebook is the future. Now, let's talk about how this revolution is spreading across Southeast Asia. From Indonesia to the Philippines, the youth aren't sitting quietly. In Indonesia, protests erupted due to economic struggles and the obscene perks politicians get while the people struggle to make ends meet. In the Philippines, the whole Nepo baby thing took off, calling out politicians' kids living in luxury while the rest of the population is, well, living in a state of meh. It's like the ultimate meme turned into real-life drama. But don't get it twisted. The same pattern is happening everywhere. Youth, anger, social media, protests. It's like watching the same Netflix show, but in different countries. The one-piece flag is popping up everywhere. Social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter have become the battlegrounds where revolutions are planned, fueled by the same generation that can't decide whether to laugh at cat memes or fight for their country's future. Spoiler, they do both. It's not just about the protests. It's about how Gen Z has turned social media into this massive force for political change. TikTok isn't just for dance challenges anymore. It's now a weapon of mass protest. Twitter isn't just where we roast celebrities. It's where people share videos of corrupt politicians getting called out for their Nepo baby lifestyles. And Instagram? Well, that's just where we make it look really pretty while calling out the establishment. Gen Z has completely transformed the role of social media. They're using it to speak truth to power, to create solidarity, and to organize like no generation before. But let's be real for a second. Just because people are posting about it on TikTok, just because there's a viral hashtag, doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows. There's still corruption, there's still economic inequality, and there's still bad governance. Sure, the youth are making noise, but they're also facing some harsh realities. These movements might topple governments in the short term, but long-term change? That's a whole different beast. It's going to take more than just a viral TikTok trend or a handful of angry Twitter threads to fix systemic issues. But for now, the youth are definitely making their mark. And who knows? Maybe they'll create the change they're so desperately calling for. So, here's where you come in, my fellow young woke warriors. What do you think? Are you ready to join the revolution, or are you just here for the memes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's your take on all this youth-driven protest madness? Do you think it's time for Gen Z to take over? Or do we need to chill and let the older generation handle it? And while you're at it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We've got more of this juicy, hilarious, and sometimes terrifying world news coming your way. If you want to stay updated on the chaos around the world, and trust me, there's plenty, click the bell icon and let's get ready to make some more noise. Because, let's face it, if we're not going to change the world, who will? The boomers? Let's do this. All right, folks, it's your turn. Drop those comments below. Tell me what you think about these youth-led uprisings. Are we on the brink of a global revolution, or is it just another phase? And hit subscribe if you want more of this in-your-face, unapologetic content that dives deep into the real stuff that's happening in the world today. Let's make some noise, people.